At 3:12 a.m., it's not your bills that scare you. It's the realization that one tiny surprise could wreck your entire life. But there's a specific number that flips that fear into calm overnight. And it's not $100,000. Stay with me, because the ending changes everything. At 3:12 a.m., your room is quiet, your phone screen is dim, and your brain is screaming. Not about the future in some abstract philosophical way. I mean very specific, very ordinary problems that suddenly feel like life or death. Your car makes that noise again. The one you've been ignoring because you can't afford to find out what it is. Your laptop hesitates for half a second, and you picture it dying right before your next paycheck. Your manager schedules a quick chat, and your stomach drops. Your pet coughs once in the other room, and you're already calculating how fast an emergency vet bill could ruin you. Here's the scary part. None of those things are guaranteed to happen tomorrow. But your brain is acting like they will, because when your finances are fragile, your nervous system treats life like a trap door. Now let me tell you something that sounds almost too simple to be true, and it might annoy you at first. There's a specific amount of money that can erase most of these 3 a.m. spirals. Not because it makes you rich, not because you can buy your way out of every problem, but because it changes what problems mean. And the wild part is this. That first real milestone is not $100,000. It's not $1 million. It's not some number that only successful people get to talk about. It's $10,000. I didn't fully believe that until I watched what happens to people when they cross that line. They don't suddenly buy designer clothes. They don't magically become disciplined saints. Most of them don't even change their lifestyle much. But something in their mind shifts. Their decisions get cleaner. Their stress gets quieter. Their life starts to feel less like it's balancing on a thread. And I want to walk you through why. Because I'm not interested in money as a status symbol. I'm interested in money as psychology, money as leverage, money as the invisible force that decides whether you live your life in panic or in control. I'm the kind of person who can't stop analyzing why two people can earn the same paycheck and live in completely different emotional realities. I've seen someone making 6 figures still sweat a $400 surprise expense like it's the end of the world. And I've seen someone earning way less move through life with this steady calm. Like setbacks are annoying but not terrifying. That difference isn't intelligence. It's not luck. It's not even income. A lot of the time. It's a buffer. It's the presence of a safety net that turns fear into inconvenience. And yes, investing is part of this too. Because the way you invest is rarely about charts and logic. It's about how your body feels when life gets uncertain. People who invest without stability don't invest based on strategy. They invest based on stress. They panic sell. They chase hype. They move money around like they're trying to outrun anxiety. Stability doesn't just protect your bank account. It protects your decision-making. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back. This is Beginner Finance. And when I say I want to explore this with you, I mean it. I'm not here as a financial narrator reading facts off a screen. I'm here as a person who's been obsessed with what money does to the brain and why certain amounts create dramatic shifts in how you live. So before we even get to what makes $10,000 so powerful, we have to look at what life feels like without it. Because if you've never experienced financial fragility, this whole conversation sounds exaggerated. But if you have experienced it, you're already nodding. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, money isn't something you manage. Money is something you survive. You walk into a grocery store and you're not choosing what you want. You're choosing what won't punish you later. The name brand cereal becomes a moral dilemma. You grab the generic version and tell yourself it's fine. Even though it tastes like regret, someone suggests dinner and you start doing mental gymnastics. Inventing excuses because you can't say, if I spend $25 tonight, my entire week gets tighter. And it's not just these big things, it's the constant micro decisions, the constant calculating. Can I fill the tank today or wait until Friday? Can I pay this bill now or float it and hope nothing else hits? Can I buy the thing I actually need, or do I pretend I don't need it? That mental math follows you everywhere, and it drains you. There's a psychological concept called decision fatigue. It sounds like corporate buzzword nonsense, but it's painfully real. Your brain has a limited amount of decision energy each day. If you burn it all on tiny survival choices, you're more likely to make bad choices later. Impulsive choices, emotional choices, choices that feel good right now but hurt you long term. That's why financial stress isn't just unpleasant. It changes behavior. It makes people short-tempered. It makes people avoid problems until they explode. It makes people pick short-term relief over long-term strategy because they're mentally exhausted. And if you're watching this right now and you've ever felt that pressure, do me a favor, hit subscribe. Seriously, it helps this channel more than you think, and it gives me the motivation to keep making videos that actually help you build a calmer, smarter relationship with money. Now here's the pivot, and it's where the story gets interesting. A lot of people think the first big relief number is something impressive, like you need to be on your way to 6 figures before you're allowed to feel safe. But I've watched this play out in real life. And I keep coming back to the same conclusion. $10,000 is the first amount that becomes truly functional. A few $100s helps, but it's fragile. One unexpected bill and it's gone. $1,000 is a strong start. But depending on where you live and what life throws at you, it can disappear fast. 10,000 is the first level where you can take a hit. And you're still standing. That's why it matters. It's not magical because it's a round number. It's powerful because it's the first time saving stops being symbolic and starts being structural. It's the first time you feel, in your bones, that you're not one random event away from disaster. And let me be clear, $10,000 doesn't make you rich. It doesn't mean you can quit your job and move to a beach. It doesn't mean you stop caring about money. What it does is buy you margin, breathing room. And breathing room changes everything. Because when you have no margin, every choice feels like a cliff. If you slip, you fall. When you have margin, choices become what they were always supposed to be. Decisions, not emergencies. Here's the cleanest way I can explain what happens after you hit $10,000. The world doesn't get easier, but you get steadier. The same events happen. The same random problems show up. But your internal reaction changes. Let's take something small and common. The check engine light. If you have no savings, that light isn't just a warning. It's a countdown timer to financial disaster. Your brain immediately plays the full movie. Repair cost, missed shifts, credit card debt, late fees, arguments, shame, panic. It's not the car that scares you. It's the chain reaction. But if you have $10,000 set aside, that same light becomes an inconvenience. You're annoyed, you're frustrated. You wish it didn't happen, but you're not afraid. Panic versus annoyance. That difference sounds minor until you realize panic is expensive. Panic makes people take bad loans. Panic makes people delay necessary repairs until they become catastrophic. Panic makes people accept low-ball job offers because they can't afford to wait. Panic makes investors sell at the worst possible time because they suddenly need cash. And this is where $10,000 does its most important work. It removes desperation. It doesn't remove every problem, but it removes the urgency that turns problems into spirals. This is what I call the emergency fund effect. And it's underrated because it doesn't look like anything. It's not flashy. There's no Instagram post for, "I have an emergency fund." The real benefit isn't spending it. The benefit is knowing it exists. It sits there like a silent bodyguard. Most days, it does nothing. And that's the point. Because your brain behaves differently when it knows you're not one surprise away from ruin. Your shoulders drop. You sleep deeper. You stop scanning the future for threats. And here's what's fascinating. A lot of people who build a real emergency fund don't end up spending it on emergencies as much as you'd expect. Not because emergencies never happen, but because stability makes you better at preventing emergencies from turning into disasters. You handle things early, you plan ahead, you avoid late fees and overdrafts, you stop playing whack-a-mole with your bills. Now let's get practical, because this isn't just emotional storytelling. The math matters. Most financial derailers are under $10,000. A typical car repair rarely hits 5 figures. A replacement laptop is painful but survivable. A last-minute flight for a family situation, an unexpected home expense, a medical bill that pops up. These things can be brutal when you're broke, but they're manageable when you have a cushion. And the biggest fear scenario for most people is job loss. $10,000 often represents 3 to 6 months of breathing room depending on your expenses. That runway is the difference between panic searching for work and actually choosing your next move. Without runway, you take the first offer because you have to. With runway, you can interview, negotiate, and be selective. And that can literally change your income trajectory for years. This is the deeper truth. $10,000 doesn't just protect you from disasters. It protects you from making bad decisions under pressure. And that's where the psychology and investing start to overlap. Because investing is not just numbers, it's behavior. It's patience. It's being able to hold a plan when your emotions want you to do something stupid. If you're investing without a cushion, you're investing on borrowed peace of mind. Every market dip feels personal because you might need that money soon. You don't have time. And time is the main ingredient investing requires. That's how people end up panic selling. That's how they end up chasing hype. That's how they jump into things they don't understand because they feel behind. A proper emergency fund doesn't make you a better investor because it gives you more money to invest. It makes you a better investor because it makes you calmer. Calm investors follow plans. Calm investors learn. Calm investors don't treat every headline like a fire alarm. Now here's the part that people either love or hate, because it's the part where responsibility shows up. The hardest part about reaching $10,000 isn't earning it. It's becoming the type of person who keeps it. Most people try to save like it's a temporary punishment. They cut everything fun. They grind for a month. And then they snap. They burn out. They rebound. They spend even more because deprivation builds pressure. The people who actually reach $10,000 don't treat saving like a diet. They treat it like an identity. They become someone who saves. And once that identity clicks, money starts behaving differently in your life. Not because you discovered a secret hack. Because you stop leaking it. You notice the subscriptions you forgot. You question the convenient spending that's quietly draining you. You shop your insurance. You negotiate bills. You ask, do I actually want this, or am I buying it because I'm stressed? That's not just budgeting. That's maturity. That's control. And the best part is, the process gets easier. The first $1,000 feels brutal because you're building the muscle from zero. You're fighting habits. You're fighting impulses. You're fighting the version of you that wants immediate relief. But once you've done it once, you can do it again. The second 1,000 is easier. The third gets easier. Not because life gets cheaper, but because you've built a system and a mindset. And by the time you're closing in on $10,000, you're not just collecting money. You're collecting proof. Proof that you can set a goal and hit it. Proof that you can delay gratification. Proof that you can choose future you over current you. That proof is worth more than the money itself, because it changes what you believe you're capable of. And now we get to the part most people don't expect. $10,000 doesn't just create safety, it creates opportunity. Because when individual dollars stop feeling like the difference between survival and disaster, you become more willing to invest in things that increase your earning power. The person with no savings skips a $50 event because $50 feels dangerous. The person with a cushion goes, meets someone, hears about a job opening, and changes their situation. The person with no savings can't afford a $300 course. The person with a cushion takes it, gains a skill, and increases income by thousands. This isn't guaranteed, obviously. It's not magic. It's probability. Having options increases the chance you make a move that improves your future. And there's also the social side of money that nobody wants to talk about. Financial stress changes how you show up with people. You avoid invitations. You make excuses. You feel embarrassed. You get resentful. You isolate. A buffer pulls you out of that. You stop dodging life. You stop feeling like you're one mistake away from humiliation. You walk into rooms with a different posture, and that posture shows up in job interviews, negotiations, relationships, and opportunities. Which brings me back to the core point. $10,000 isn't about buying stuff. It's about buying breathing room. Now, if you're thinking, that's cool, but I can't save $10,000, I'm not going to insult you with fake positivity. Here's what I actually believe. People don't fail because they can't save 10,000. They fail because they try to save it in a way that makes them hate their life. Intensity burns out. Consistency builds identity. So start small enough that it doesn't trigger rebellion. Automate it. Make it boring. Make it sustainable. Even if it's $25 a week. Even if it's $50 a month. The amount matters less than the pattern, because the pattern turns into a habit. The habit turns into an identity. And the identity turns into results. And one more thing, because I need you to hear this clearly. None of this is personal financial advice. I'm not telling you exactly what to do with your money. I'm showing you why this milestone matters so you can build a plan that fits your life. But I will say this as a friend who spent too much time thinking about how money and behavior connect. Build the buffer first. Then learn investing calmly. Then start playing offense. Because when you hit your first $10,000, you won't suddenly feel rich. You'll feel stable. And stability is the platform that makes everything else possible. Better decisions, better work, better investing, and a life that doesn't wake you up at 3 a.m. to scare you. If you made it this far, I want to ask you one question, not a motivational question, a real one. What would change in your life if you had a $10,000 buffer starting tomorrow? Drop your answer in the comments. I read them. And it gives me ideas for what to break down next. And if you want more videos like this, practical, psychological, and grounded, make sure you're subscribed to Beginner Finance. Because I promise you, the first $10,000 isn't the end. It's the moment you stop living like life can knock you out with one punch.